Rosa WAAGE. That is my husband's name. My maiden name is Lopez. I am from Lima. I was born there, with the coast. Then I came to this country in 1973. And I immediately, luckily, started working and lived in this country ever since, the country that now is my own, you know, with double nationality, Peruvian and American. I work in the UN. I work at the Department of Conference Services. We have to do the General Assembly, the Security Council, the different organisms and conferences in the UN in New York, or I had a very good opportunity to travel uh, congresses and conferences in different countries. Mm. I started, got surprised and happy that I found myself very easily adapted, and I like it so much that I was always doing it more and more and dedicating hours, not only in here in America, but in Lima. It made me feel more like myself, like I was more finding and accomplishing something that I really wanted to do, for a long time. But before, it was very difficult with my work and at home too. I had a hard life because my husband died young. So then I had to uh, dedicate more time, most of the time, to my family, to, of course, not to my job. I think I was lucky. Maybe it was in a certain way good that I could retire at 60 because I had the opportunity to do dedication to myself. Yeah.
They're from your country. Can you talk about the painting on the top? What kind
Yeah.
of dance that is?
Yeah. It's like, I love it. And I have been there and I danced.
Can you
Yeah.
talk about what
But
kind of dance
for
it is?
this painting, I love it. It is from Huancayo. It's one region in Peru where their dressing, their cast is like that. It's very similar. And you can see the color of the mountains, the pasture, everything is like that. And the name of the dance is Huayno. And I love it because it dances not only in that region, but it's in all the areas, the mountains. Then you know that we have the Andean mountains, all going from north to south of Peru. And, I love it. This one is also from the same area or from another area, very similar, with women working on pottery. Yeah, it's all ceramic. It's it's made with really barro, in Spanish barro, but it's a that amazing the colors. How can they do? And sometimes they even make designs on the pottery. Yeah. This one is one of my trips in Miraflores. They were selling only llama and alpaca uh, things. And they had one Indian woman sitting on one corner with weaving, weaving so it was amazing. It was nice. And I said, oh, I have to draw that. But this is You see, collage, because this is real, a piece of the cloth. The only thing I put there is some uh, threads, no, so that it could be. It's from those things that I got from my trips, from visiting, or when I enjoy traveling, sharing all that culture. I mean, it's also my culture. Then this one, I like it because it's like a, a tapestry with a motif, no? With you see these lines. This is the llama. This is the shuyo. It's an Indian hat. In Quechua, they call shuyo. Shuyo. Yeah? And that is a pottery. Yeah? In Quechua is huaco. It's also made out like this type pottery, but this is small, and they could have chicha. They could have water. No? Uh, because of the material, it kept it cool. Yeah, you didn't need a refrigerator because it keeps it cool, fresh, no matter what you do. It's nice. It's very nice. Colors, isn't the colors they use? Oh, very bright. You know, you see, and I love the colors too. This one is actually from the coast. No, there is an area where there is a pier where the fishermen, no, they take their boats and they go in the sea in the morning and then come back with full of fish. No? And you can see them now resting and fishing, but it was good. And I like it because it's very look like the ones you have. And the other one is the African girl that I really took it from one magazine or documentary that I watched. Is you can see what I like is because this is like a bush, no, like it's very nice. And the girl, so it was like an ornament, not using her hair, but the right?
So your colors seem mostly to come from the mountains,
Yeah.
the deep uh, dirt and soil and the clay. But
Yeah.
you're from Lima, you're from the coast.
Actually, the people from the coast they enjoyed. They enjoyed the the old area from the mountain and the forest. You know that we have the Amazon, no, on the forest. It's completely different too, even in the way they speak. Mm. And I remember my husband, he used to laugh that there is a lot of contrast, but at the same time, keeps us attached as regards the music, the, the food, the dressing, no, because we cannot dress like this. No, because they use it because of the cold. They have several skirts, the women, so as to protect from the cold. So that when they sit down, they are covered and they are protected.
Dancers in the top painting are barefoot, they don't have shoes on. So even though it's cold, they dance barefoot with no shoes.
No, no, but here is a moment of dancing. But they wear sandals or they have the regular shoes. Even now they use sneakers or there's not the fancy ones, but the flat ones. Good to keep them walking on the mountains, on stepping on the rocks, without hurting their feet.
So one of the things I noticed in this top painting is both figures have one foot on the ground and the other foot you don't see.
I know because you know what? That type of dance is you have to
Balance.
practically to jump. When you do this, then they jump.
Oh,
And the more, like for instance, you start jumping slowly. A moment during the music that you get the euphoria and the you are so penetrated in the music that then your feet they go higher, higher, and dancing. You see, so that's why that is that moment when they are jumping and
You
really
captured that.
lifting their legs one at a time, but very high. You see, when you go to a restaurant in Lima, there are many, and they have the shows, folkloric shows, no? And then the people love it, love it. They start dancing. My husband used to dance. Why not? He said, yes, yes, I do. And he was American. He was, invite the people, the tourists, they love it because it's very, you know, lively and very uh, how can I say it? You feel like doing it, no? And when you start doing it, is you are can't stop.
Cameroon, December 17, 2002. It was at 4 a.m. and it was on a snowy uh, December. My first impressions were actually that the winter was more colder than I expected. It felt different, but yeah, I'm excited because it felt like a whole new phase of my life. You say that being here, just the language barrier was my first challenge, so it took a while, which is my native language. And we also have a tribal one, which I no longer speak anymore. So when I came here, I felt that the language barrier, I was struggling in high school. From middle school going to high school, there was a program called Visual Performing Arts, VPA, and it was hosted at NGC. Uh, And from there, my sophomore and junior year, I participated summer programs with Cooper Union. My experience at Cooper Union, even though I felt young at the time, they treated us as adults. They really, figure drawing was a big thing. Really perspective, I was exposed to all those things, and they showed us a bunch of techniques, which I feel like made my art better because that's what I liked at the time. I didn't have
So if Cooper Union was fine arts, then you went to Parsons.
Yes, uh, process as well. And I think biggest thing I picked from there was a technique called line contour, and I just like the whole free flow movement that for my later years, some of my teachers said I had fine lines to my sketches, and I think I picked it up from there.
So then when you went from drawing to painting, what were your first experiences in painting? What medium did you use and what subject matter did you choose?
When I started to paint, it was from watercolor to acrylic to oil and then to gouache. When I went to acrylic, I feel like it dried too fast, but that's what I actually mastered the best at the time. So most of my work are acrylic. It wasn't until when I was in college that I was introduced to gouache. And I feel like that's my favorite one now because it's rich. I can always go back and add more to enhance it. So, and I also felt like I had more control. And in fact, I could always come back and add to it. It's one of the biggest things. I feel like acrylic sometimes once you try it, there was no way I could truly come back. And with acrylic, it felt like color pop. It's a little bit like oil. It pops a little heavy. It pops more, and watercolor was too light. So that was a perfect wish for me. So um, the Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe is my favorite. Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart. It's my favorite written work. Let it be into like literature that's a little like the dog more dog theme, and I feel like he emphasizes it a lot. So in the story, there's a butler, you see, that whose story is centered around, and I felt like the story, if I was really to hit the peak of the story, that would be me. So that's why I answered myself in there. You can say that such type of story, the narrative is more driven by the person reading than the actual narrator, because he has such way with words that makes you feel like you're part of the scene, and like outside just reading it. In this sketch, actually, if you add different edition of the sketch, starters, I had just a little blockade because I was trying to emphasize the I is the big theme in the story. The I is what drives the narrator mad. So I knew I had to focus, I had to do something with the eyes. But it felt more abstract than a realistic piece. And what we were going for in this cover was something realistic. So I had to, improvise. So I switched to something more like symbolic, you could say. But I felt like even though the eye was the main theme, too many eyes kind of distracted the focal point of what I was trying to, say. So afterwards, basically the guy in the story basically he went a little crazy. But again, it's not going to tell you what the peak of the story was, and I feel like people can interpret it in different ways by just looking at it. So I wanted people to kind of understand that hey, the story is something a little bit darker. So this is when I got to this. So first you have the eye really, swallowing the the basically the butler's eye swallowing how you call it, the owner of the house. And basically what happened, what I meant is that he was consumed by fear by the butler's eye, that he eventually killed it, just so that the eye could be closed. But again, abstract and not what we're going for. So at the end, I settled with this. The only problem is that I didn't have a physical source that I can base the face on. So that's what I use myself. It's a final piece. After the sketch was completed, we had to make a painting out of it. And this came about.
What was the medium that you used for the painting?
So for the painting, I used gouache. That was actually my second introduction into gouache. Uh, I don't know if you can see, it's being sprayed so the colors can stay. But gouache was probably my favorite, medium to learn, just because in the beginning I really attacked it the way I would do watercolor. But I felt like even though let's say in watercolor I would go about two, 3 times layer it up, gouache in one or two stroke was already rich enough. Um, Even though it was such a strong theme, strong scene, the colors are you can see are warm, but on the face I use cool color to kind of see those shadows. Yeah, I really emphasize on the eye, and that's why it's the only color that's green, because I want whoever's looking at it, for the eyes to go there first, because that's the head. And even though the person's supposed to be dead, the eye didn't close, which means the torment that the head of the household uh, went through was still there.
Okay. So your portrait, you said is a mirror portrait. How old were you when you did that? As
Oh.
opposed to how old you are now?
I was 14 at the time, and I'm 33 now. I feel like the passion stayed the same, but the dreams altered a little bit in terms of what we want to accomplish. When I was younger, my dad was an illustrator himself, but he didn't draw in terms of like portraits and stuff. He did mostly blueprints for his helicopter. So he drew parts, and every time I sat around him at the time, he used to give me Western comics, and I would look, and that's actually where I got the realism from. Try realistic. That's where the drive for it came. I would say at this phase in my life, I would really focus more on everything in terms of like making things as realistic as possible. Looking back, there's some limitation to my skills at the time, but I'm very happy with what I was able to accomplish in terms of the shading techniques because it takes a very long time. You have to be very patient. Um, Another thing is that in our school, they didn't let us use the color white or black. So even with pencil, I can use like a white chalk to pick up things from this. Say that you're looking in this portrait, you're looking at a guy looking back at himself. Someone else a little bit unsure in life where he was going. He wasn't sure if he had a feel in art. He doubted his skills a little bit, but he was very confident that with hard work he would get it done. He had a lot of support at home as well as his peers. Um, Figure drawing was, it still is my strongest, you can say, is field. Yeah, and um, even back then in the class, I was always looked as one of the better figure drawers. I would say that person and the person that I am now, I'm someone that likes to tell stories. So I use my art that way more, you know. Anything, if I could say anything to this guy, is that not to worry, that if he stay true to himself, his art will speak more than his words can ever could. And I feel like, me looking myself in the mirror, even back then, I was trying to visualize where I would be 10 years. So a nice, like, photo from looking back. I'm very happy with how far I come.
You should be. Yeah, you work wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Talking to HIDEH AZIMI. She's Persian. When did you move from Iran, HIDEH?
1978, before revolution, because my husband has a scholarship in Teachers College, Columbia University. So we moved here. I was registered nurse in my country, and I came here, started working in first in Joint Diseases Hospital, then to the hospital near Teachers College, Columbia University, which was at that time the name was St. Luke's Hospital, but then they changed to Mount Sinai. Actually, in 2015, I retired, and then after that, I didn't want to stay home, just watching TV, king and cleaning. So I said I have to do something to keep myself busy, and so I start painting because I used to drawing in my high school time. I was watching TV or film from my country give me an idea to paint. My first one is this one, first painting in 2016. When I was reading poetry, I saw a poem regarding a lover walking in the street looking for a friend, lover in that street. So the whole poem was explaining that the guy was all his body became an eye to look for the lover. So as you see in the inside the, as you see in the eye, you see the reflection of the lady in his eye.
And I call this singer, not song. Medium is acrylic. This one, I heard the news that women cannot sing or dance. So that gave me some idea to paint this, that the ladies used to sing freely in my country. Now they have to run away. This one I did, I guess, 6 months ago. I call this victory dance. I know that your husband names most of your paintings. Yeah. Yes, my husband. Actually, he's helping me. He's a big support. Yeah. As you see her hand. The lyrics, I try to capture the lyrics on the skirt of that lady. Yeah, that's my handwriting. Might not be very good, but you know. And the dress is from the song that the gentleman during the women's movement starts singing, and then it get the Grammy Award of this year, I guess 2023 or 2022. I'm not sure. And it's acrylic. This is also is acrylic, and during the movement, as you heard on the news, they capture a lady, 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. So, and then they injured her. And this idea I got from the film that I saw. She was in a hospital with the bleeding and everything. So that's why I try to paint and add those ideas that woman life freedom that people chanting during the movement. Medium is acrylic. This is also acrylic, and I did it recently to show the women's movement still following up and continuing up. I heard on the news that they killed them, they blind them, they arrested them just because they don't want to cover their hair. Because it's not in our culture, and something by force. They don't want to accept it. Force. This one I made it out of sand and moss. So as you see, it's different material. And acrylic. I just saw everybody do the landscaping. I said, let me try with a different medium. This is acrylic pouring. This is with the resin over it to make it shiny. That technique also I learned it from computer, and I try to learn the new things. So this is one of them. Minutes there. I know that your paintings speak for themselves. Can you just make a statement about that? I hope, because as I said, I like to communicate with the people who are watching my artwork. as an individual, they should capture the thing that happened around them, and then fight for it.
You do that with your painting.
Yeah, it's just this is the line that I can show my ideas. Everybody understand.
Do you hope that it will start a conversation about feminism and the plight of women in Iran?